Morning, afternoon, evening. Welcome to Tutorial I, Idioms, Individuals and Institutions. I'm sure there'll be some grammar here again. We're not quite done with our parts of speech, but the main thing is we're beginning with these idioms, and there's lots of those to cover. And if you're not a home language speaker, some of them are going to sound very strange, but that's part of every language, are these unusual expressions known as idioms. And let's look at some straight away. Hit the hay, meaning to go to bed. There's no real hitting involved. It takes two to tango, which means it takes two people to create a situation. Kill two birds with one stone, which means to complete two tasks by doing only one thing. To let someone off the hook, to let someone get away with a mistake or wrongdoing. To go back to the drawing board, which means to go back to making the initial plans. To rub someone up the wrong way, which means to annoy someone. To cross that bridge when we come to it, which means to face an issue when it arises. Wrap your head around something, which means to understand a complex issue. Break a leg, which means good luck. Sing your heart out, which means to sing well and a lot. A picture paints 1,000 words. A picture can explain something better than many words. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, which means that beauty is seen differently according to who's doing the looking. Add fuel to the fire, which means to make a situation worse by your action. As easy as pie, meaning very easy. Break the bank, which means spend more money than you have. Get a kick out of it, get a thrill out of something. Or in the same boat, which means two of us in the same situation. A blessing in disguise means that something seems bad but actually turns out to be good. A dime a dozen. Something is cheap, or you find many of them. To beat around the bush, which means getting straight to the point. Don't beat around the bushes. Avoid getting straight to the point. Beating around the bush. See, I should actually have changed this one to don't beat around the bush, meaning get straight to the point. A chip on the shoulder, which means that someone has a bad attitude. Cutting corners means missing out on parts of the job, maybe because you're saving money, you're cutting corners. Enough idioms for now, but many still to come. Family relationships, which did she have? A trio? No, that's musicians. A treble? No, that's in music. Treble clef and bass clef in music. She had triplets, 3 children born at the same time. Not twins or quadruplets, but triplets. They were Japanese, Chinese, or Siamese twins. If those babies were joined, then they were Siamese twins. I was an only child, a single child, a missing child. I was an only child. All the members of our book club are related by marriage, on marriage, to marriage. They're related by marriage. I know you, not my own flesh and blood, not blood and guts or skin and bones. I'm related to you, you are my flesh and blood. Not many of my own heart relatives are still alive, skin relatives are still alive. No, not many of my own blood relatives are still alive. So our next part of speech, the last one was adverbs, is prepositions. I just remember this word position. Prepositions show relationships between things, between two nouns and pronouns. The train went through the tunnel. He was the son of an actress. A preposition always has an object. Common prepositions: about, above, across, after, against, along, around, at, before, behind, below, beneath, beside, between, beyond, by, down, except for, from, in, inside, like, near, of, off, on, over, since, through, till. 2, toward, under, until, up, upon, with. These little words that show relationships. You can also have compound prepositions, two prepositions used together. He dropped the balloon out of the window. The sign was in front of the building. They were all there because of the party. He stood in front of the concert hall. Prepositions can be more than one word. You can also get prepositional phrases, groups of words introduced by a preposition. In the sea, beyond the river, after the operation, with 6 legs. A prepositional phrase can do the work of an adjective or adverb. Into the washing machine. It does the work of an adverb of place. Where did he throw the clothes? Into the washing machine. So, I might see this and say it's an adverbial phrase. And I guess it is, but it can also be called a prepositional phrase because it's introduced by a preposition. A noun can be the object of a preposition. I walked into what? I walked into the lounge. So here it's the object not of the verb, but of the preposition into. You're standing on what? You're standing on my foot. My foot is the object of the preposition on. We often ran around the lake. The lake is the object of the preposition around. Insert the prepositions. The plane swooped. I want to say into the air. And there's too many gaps for that, but I don't know what else to say, so I'm going to say into the air. The jet hurtled down the runway, onto the runway. I'll say down the runway. That's clearly only 2 letters. She stood on the bridge. It's fun to walk around the town. A good friend will stand by you. It's hard to swim against the current. I left my hat at my brother's house. To whom are we going to give the prize? To whom? More inserting the prepositions. Oh, I see lots of pages of these. You are capable of a better grade. We were embarrassed by his actions. We must adapt our plan. What would you say? To the new students. If you object to this rule, please go home. Why cry over spilt milk? That's an idiom, meaning don't cry about something that's happened and too late to change. Don't argue over such a trivial matter or about such a trivial matter. I'm going to say about. Don't argue over such a trivial matter. He was accompanied by his wife. A man's ability to earn money is independent his education. What would you say? Is independent of his education. A farmer's wealth is largely dependent on the weather. He could not prevent himself slipping. From slipping. I am indebted to you for your help. I'm shocked. I guess it could be over his remarks, but I think here they just wanted us to say by. I'm shocked by his remarks. They were involved in a serious argument. You want to have a look at this lot for a bit before I just go ahead and storm in and come with the answers? He refuses to lend money, me. He suffers, shyness. I'm worried, my mother. I'm good, English. Please prevent harm, befalling them. They were puzzled, the avant-garde music. The sailors are, the ship. The article is, his talents. Pause if you need, because I'm coming with the answers. He refuses to lend money to me, borrow from, lend to. He suffers from shyness. I'm worried about my mother. I am good at English. Please prevent harm from befalling them. They were puzzled by the avant-garde music. The sailors are on the ship. This article is among his talents, I think. Increases were given something the board. This poem is my dignity. She is herself with grief. She lives her means. I heard it the grapevine, meaning I heard the gossip about it. I heard it around. I've been waiting you for an hour. She blew a kiss me. Pause if necessary. Increases were given across the board. Everyone got an increase. This poem is, there's more than one answer. It could be beneath my dignity, or it could be about my dignity. I think they want us to say beneath. In other words, I can do better than this poem. It could be about my dignity. She's beside herself with grief. She doesn't know where to put herself. She lives within her means, or she could live beyond her means if she spends more than she earns. I heard it on the grapevine. I have been waiting for you for an hour, and she blew a kiss at me. One more page of inserting prepositions. There are two big differences. If there's only two of us, it'll be between. There's three or more of us among, but let's say there's two of us, therefore between us. Free accommodation is the main advantage of living at home. There was an increase in the interest rate. Find a solution to your problem. Laughing at other people is rude. Choose the correct word. He is as clever as we are. He suffers with claustrophobia or from claustrophobia. Fear of closed-in spaces. What would you say? He suffers from claustrophobia. He corresponds or writes letters or emails with a friend in China. I threw myself heart and soul or heart and body? Heart and soul into the business. Can you count people? Yes, you can, so it's going to be fewer. If it was sand, we would say less. But people can be counted, therefore there were fewer people here today. And here, if it were two sisters, we'd be dividing the chocolate between them. But seeing as it's three sisters, we're dividing the chocolate among them. Borrow from, lend to. So please lend your pen to me. Please lend me your pen. but may I borrow your pencil from you? So please may I borrow your pencil. Borrow from, lend to. Complete the proverbs and idioms. The darkest hour is that before the dawn. As the worst time is just before things recover. A soft answer turns away anger, but we use this fancy word for anger, wrath. Meaning when someone's angry with you, the quickest way to shut them up is to be calm and answer them back softly. Beggars must not be choosers. A chain is as strong as its weakest link. Do not count your whats before they are what. Do not count your chickens before they are hatched. As don't assume things too early. See how things pan out before you assume anything. It's no use watching over spilt what. I think we did this one earlier. It's no use crying over spilt milk. What can't be cured must be watered. If you can't fix it, you've got to just put up with it. So what can't be cured must be endured. Straight from the horse's nose, no? Straight from the horse's mouth. I heard it direct from the source. I heard it directly from the person who made up that rule. I heard it straight from the horse's mouth. To put your what in your mouth, to put your foot in your mouth, is to say the wrong thing, to say the unfortunate, awkward thing, to put your foot in your mouth. Word starting with I. Unable to be stopped, relentless. I think they're wanting us to say implacable, the implacable advance of time. It can't be stopped. Not connected with or relevant to something. Irrelevant. And look at that double R. The ir is the prefix added to relevant. Don't take away or add any letters and you get I double R. Irrelevant. To deduce or conclude something from evidence and reasoning, rather than from explicit statements, is to infer something, to make an inference. And then so good or unusual as to be impossible to copy, unique. She has such an inimitable style. No one can imitate her. She's quite inimitable. Quite a few words to come, starting with I. A group of words established by usage as having a meaning not deducible from those of the individual words. Over the moon, meaning very happy. See the light, meaning understand something. That's what idioms are. Endless or apparently endless. Endless or apparently endless. Often used in an exaggerated way, hyperbolically. Interminable, meaning never ending. Interminable. Oops. What did I just do? There, I fixed it up. Interminable. Using or based on what one feels to be true, even without conscious reasoning. Instinctive. That's using your intuition. So it's intuitive. And that leaves only too attractive and tempting to be resisted. That's quite irresistible. Those delights of those sticky desserts are quite irresistible. A tendency to do nothing or to remain unchanged, that's inertia. Inert means unmoving. So I suffered from inertia in the hot summer weather. I didn't want to move. To absorb or assimilate ideas or knowledge or liquids such as alcohol. To imbibe. I always thought of this word as meaning to eat or drink. But it can also be to take in ideas. To imbibe, to absorb. I'm fond of this word, an extremely small amount. I don't care one iota about that silly problem. Iota, a small amount. Not resulting from or achieved through deliberate planning. It happened by accident. It was inadvertent. And then a hindrance or obstruction in doing something, an impediment. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Treating all rivals or disputants equally is to be impartial, not to take any one side. Feeling or showing anger or annoyance at what is perceived as unfair treatment. I think they want us to say indignant, but you're always asking me to... That's being indignant. Anger or annoyance at what you think is unfair. So slight or gradual or subtle as not to be noticed or cannot be perceived, it is imperceptible. The imperceptible passage of time. The expression of one's meaning by using language that normally signifies the opposite, typically for humorous or emphatic effect, saying the opposite of what you mean, irony. Not in harmony or keeping with the surroundings or other aspects of something. It doesn't fit in with what's around it. It's incongruous. That fancy watch on the wrist of that Roman soldier, it's an anachronism that looks so incongruous. Unable to read or write is being illiterate. And then certain to happen, unavoidable, inevitable, can't be stopped, can't avoid it. It's inevitable. Having or showing no skill, clumsy, is quite inept. A or an that introduces non-specific nouns. The boy, the girl we looked at was the definite article. A and an, a girl, a boy, we're not sure which girl or boy it was. Those are indefinite articles. And then impossible to pass through or enter, cannot be penetrated. It's impenetrable. The impenetrable defenses of that fortress. So we're nearly there because we're on to our comments on writing for the week. Look at the opening line. Some ideas I came across recently about interesting and exciting opening lines. Make it sound like a movie trailer. 2 girls, 1 man, a life-changing choice. Emotional honesty. I didn't lose you all at once. It happened day by day. Or I pretend to be fine even when no one's watching. Promise a big change. By the end of the story, you'll see how wrong I was. jump right into the scene. Steam rose from the mug as the truth was revealed. Use paradox. The louder I screamed, the less they noticed. Hint at a bigger story. It started as a joke and ended as an apology to the cosmos. Tell a secret. There's one thing I never told anybody. Now I'm going to let it out. Use sensory detail. The air smelled like ozone and burnt sugar. Just some ideas for interesting and engaging opening lines. Our topics for the week: the society in which I live, wake up, shower, eat, work, quick lunch, work, supper, bed. Your life could follow a similar pattern. What are your views on this? The paradox: all would live long, but none would be old. Everyone wants to live long, but no one wants to get old. Who are today's heroes? The celebrity who's influenced me most. Nice guys finish last. One's not educated by school, but by life. Or this picture. So one more time. The society I live in. Wake up, shower, blah, blah, blah. Your life could follow a similar pattern. What are your views? Everyone wants to live long, but no one wants to get old. Who are today's heroes? The celebrity who's influenced me most. Nice guys finish last. One's not educated by school, but by life. Or the picture. To finish off, quick little vocabulary quiz. Having 8 sides. Octagonal. Describes one with long limbs, long legs, and I guess long arms. It's someone who's lanky. Over-decorated and showy. It's garish. It's too much. That which joins a muscle to a bone is a sinew. To try to explain the rightness of one's actions is to justify them. To think carefully about something is to deliberate. Fame or high distinction, renown. Pain or serious need, distress. The science of the structure of the body, anatomy. And that's our tutorial. I see I didn't make a slide saying thank you for joining me, and please come back for tutorial J, jargon and journalese. But I'll say it, please come back and join me for tutorial J, jargon and journalese. It's been lovely having you with me. I look forward to seeing you again next time. Till then, have fun. Bye-bye.